Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to episode 1 of our look at my favorite power trios. So this is a show we're going to be doing throughout the month of July here in 2022. 3 guys in a band making lots of cool noise. So I'm going to be talking about 31 days in the month of, did I say 30 before? I may have said 30 before. I meant 31. 31 days in the month of July. I have created a list of my 31 favorite power trios. So now there's something you need to understand a little bit here. So some of these bands, at maybe some point in time, deviated from the power trio format and added a 4th member, or maybe even more. But I included them if they had a substantial enough period where they were just a power trio, just 3 guys. Okay? In many cases, it's going to be bass, guitar, and drums, right? In some instances, you might see a keyboard player instead of a guitar player, right? That may happen here. Probably will happen on a couple of occasions. But for the most part, it's like they had a pretty notable period where it was just 3 guys. And that's kind of what they were originally known for, right? So that's kind of what I'm going for here. And my first pick here, my number 31, and again, this is going to be somewhat loose of an order. I think my very favorites out of all these are going to come later in the month, like I normally do. So this is not in any real order. A lot of the bottom half of the list, like number 15 through 31, are kind of all just kind of haphazard here. But like I said, my true favorites are going to come at the end. So this first power trio debuted in 1972. They were only around for 2 years. They released 2 studio albums and then 1 live album. The live album came out once they were already broken up. The band is West, Bruce, and Lang. Okay, so we got Why Don't You? You've got the second album, which is Whatever Turns You On. And then the West, Bruce, and Lang live and Kickin' live album. So that's basically all we got from these guys. So, of course, this band is comprised of Leslie West and Corky Lang from Mountain. Leslie West on guitars and lead vocals, Corky Lang on drums, and then the bass player, the guy in the middle, although his name is second on the billing, is none other than Jack Bruce. So when you think about it, Jack Bruce had more of the name at the time, so I'm surprised they didn't call this Bruce, West, and Lang. But actually, West, Bruce, and Lang rolls off the tongue a little bit better, right? Jack Bruce, of course, on bass and vocals, formerly of Cream. So this was kind of the band that got put together after both Cream and Mountain kind of splintered, right? Mountain would get back together numerous times over the years, but Cream was pretty much done till decades later when they did a reunion with Eric Clapton and Ginger Baker, right? Many years later. But for now, this was the kind of the new supergroup formed out of the ashes of both Mountain and Cream, playing basically music that not too dissimilar from both of those bands. This is just heavy blues rock. There's some kind of like folky stuff in here as well, but for the most part, it's like blues and blues rock and hard rock, fueled by a lot of drugs. It's basically the reason why this band never got bigger than they did and didn't last longer than 2 years, is because man, they couldn't keep their noses out of the heroin and the cocaine bags. It's been long noted and documented how much these 3 guys were, having hard times with drugs around this time. So they're out on the road, they're touring here and in the UK, all over the place, and just having a hard time staying out of the bad stuff, right? So, again, one of those stories, those rock and roll stories of a pretty good band whose career got kind of derailed from drug addiction, drug problems, and sure, there's egos going on in this band as well. You got Leslie West and Jack Bruce in the same band, but 2 pretty good albums. Are they great albums? No, they're not great albums, but there's just something really cool about this lineup. Probably my favorite is Why Don't You, which is the debut album, which has got some really cool songs. Like the title track is great. The Doctor is kick-ass. Third Degree. Love is Worth the Blues, Pollution Woman. Again, very similar to Cream. Maybe not quite as dynamic. I always thought Mountain was a pretty dynamic band. They have lots of good melodies and things going on in their music. I don't think the music of either of these 2 albums is as sophisticated as Mountain got at times. And at the same time, I don't think the songs are as instantly memorable as a lot of the Cream stuff. And again, with all that was going on with the guys in the band at the time, not surprising that they kind of went into the studio and just kind of put together some songs and then just took it out on the road and jammed and jammed and jammed. And as you can see on the back here, the guys are drinking and eating and whatnot. I mean, it's like, but yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff. Token is another good song. Scotch Crotch, Rock and Roll Machine from the second album. I think if you really want to hear what this band were all about, the live album gives you a good snapshot. Lots of jamming and long songs. You got Play With Fire, The Doctor, Politician, and Powerhouse Sod. Of course, Politician was a song that Cream always played, right? But yeah, good stuff. I think it's an interesting kind of like look back at rock and roll history when you had a lot of these very notable names that would leave their big moneymaker bands and just kind of get together with other guys. I mean, just you look at Blind Faith. There's all these other bands where you had these short-lived collaborations and supergroups that just don't really ever pan out to the success of the bands that they came from. In this instance, though, like I said, these albums sold fairly well. I think both of them, if I'm not mistaken, were top 50 seller albums, so they did decent business. But it's almost like you kind of can see it was doomed from the start. But it makes for good listening going back. Again, neither one a classic album, but really good, I think. And as far as like this is Power Trio, right? When you think of Power Trio, you think big, brash, heavy blues rock, hard rock type of thing. I always kind of Power Trio to me always kind of goes back to the 70s. And that's probably has a lot to do with both Cream and the Jimi Hendrix Experience, both of who, as you can imagine, are going to come up on this program later in the month. So yeah, so like I said, my favorite is probably the debut, Why Don't You? But there's good moments on both. Quite frankly, I think if you take the best of both of these albums, you have a really, really good album. As it is, each one are kind of spotty. But there are enough good things on both of them to warrant checking these out if you haven't already. And if you want to just hear these guys just do the big long song jamming thing, well, then you got the live album live and kicking. So, but yeah, Leslie West, Jack Bruce, Corky Lang, West Bruce and Lang is my first pick here in this month. Number 31 in my favorite Power Trio month here of July. Something's coming up, as you can hear. So, thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. All together, all the damn time. As we do each and every month when we do these month-long theme shows, get your list ready and start listing and talking about your favorite power trios each and every day down in the comments below. And let us know what you think about West Bruce and Lang. If you haven't listened to these guys, go check them out. Come back and report back. Let us know in the comments what you think of Why Don't You, or whatever turns you on, or even the live album. And we'll see you tomorrow morning with another one of my favorite power trios in this Power Trio month of July 2022. And please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell. We also have the links below to our Ko-Fi page and our merch page. And we'll see you tomorrow with more stuff we got coming up here this morning. We've got Friday morning at the Funhouse with Martin Popoff. We've got the 4 Fusion Friday, UK Connection tomorrow, Talking Kiss, and then Sunday we've got album homework assignments. So lots happening this weekend. Don't miss any of it. I am Pete Pardo. See you real soon. Bye-bye.